Hey everybody, this is Dave Blair for the Simpit. I'm covering Week 6, Race 2. This is the final race of the season for the Simpit series on SRS and in Assetto Corsa. And this was a great race. I'm going to try and cover all the incidents, accidents, and just some great racing. Again, this was the final race of the season, and we're at Road America, and this is the top split. So here we go. Okay, we're going to start on board with Sean Sebring. That's ProSim TNT on YouTube. And you can see he dove to the inside, cut across the grass. I don't know what he was thinking here. I'm just kidding, Sean, but you did take me out on that corner. Okay, now we're on board with me, Dave Blair. We're going to take another look at this. You can see Sean Sebring coming up out of control. Taps me out. I get knocked back all the way to last. It's almost like he was trying to beat me in points. Not sure. But, yeah, that's something that happened. Okay, now we're on board with Alberto Solero. We're going to look at it from his point of view. And again, this is the first corner. You can see Sean cutting across. Dave Blair tapped Alberto out here. Sorry about that, but I was out of control. So now we're on board with Luke Sky, and we're kind of about mid-pack here, still on the first lap. And you can see Andreas Castaneda out there leading the way with Heiko Schurman right behind him. That's going to be a good battle for the majority of this race. Now we're back on board with me, and this is the back of the pack. This really was some good racing out here today. Again, this is Week 6, Race 2, last race of the season. And this is Road America. Okay, now we're on board with Joao Duarte. And he's battling Jason Jones right here. Jason Jones and Doug Hawley are going to have a good battle later in the race. Heiko Schurman and Andreas Castaneda have a good battle for first and second too. And then mid-pack you had Dan Clark, Will Dawson, Steve Walker, and Sean Sebring. Those guys had a good battle too. So we'll try to cover a bunch of that stuff. Now we're on board with Luke Sky. Again, just this corner is really congested right here. You can see Joao out there, John Crane, Tom Jones, Jason Jones up ahead. Marcio Guimarães coming up here. So now we're on board with max speed, and you can see Joao getting spun out right there. Okay, now we're on board with Joao. We're going to take another look at it. Yeah, he's just going to get loose on his own. But that's costly. This is the second lap. He drops all the way back to last. Okay, now we're on board with Tom Jones, and he's going to have a problem with his connection right here. You can see it stutter a few times. And his car's just going to go off and stop. So Tom Jones got booted from the server, looks like. Okay, now we're on board with Luke Sky. And you can see him trying to get around Marcio here. Very dangerous, but all worked out. You got Steve Walker trying to come up on Luke Sky here on the inside. Okay, now we're on board with Alberto Solero again. And we are almost 6 minutes into the race. He's going to go off. Took some damage. Okay, now we're on board with Sean Sebring, and you can see Steve Walker right in front of him, Luke Sky in front of him, but these guys are going to have a good battle. Again, we're looking at about mid-pack here, and we're almost, well, we're at 6 minutes into the race. Okay, now we're going to jump on board with max speed, and he makes the 7th one in the line here, but these guys are going to battle for quite a while. Again, this is, you got the good close racing right here. This is mid-pack. Same thing as last night. There's a lot of pressure being in a group like this, you know, especially if you're the one out front. You feel like you're holding everybody back, and if you're the guy in the back, you're just waiting for somebody to make a mistake and have an accident, and hope you don't get involved in it. It's a lot of pressure, though. So all these guys deserve a lot of credit for handling the pressure, because an hour-long race is no joke, especially when you're stacked up like this. Okay, now we're going to jump on board with Steve Walker and get up here a little closer. You can see this battle. Marcio Gamero's out front. John Crane's going to get knocked a little bit by Roberval. Not sure I'm saying that name right. Roberval Cyrano. I think he's new. He's new to our series. Okay, we're going to jump back on board with Sean Sebring. Okay, now we're going to jump on board with Will Dawson, and you can see Andreas out there in front. He's running in first right now, and Heiko is in second, and Will Dawson's currently in third here, but Doug Hawley's going to come up and give him some pressure. And he gets the pass done. Okay, now we're on board with Doug Hawley. We're going to take another look at that pass because looks like he locked him up. He almost hit Will right there. And then he just took off here. But nice pass. I'm sure Will is glad you didn't hit him. Okay, now we're back on board with Will Dawson. And you're going to see Jason Jones going to come up and make the pass right here. But again, Jason Jones and Doug Hawley are going to have a great battle a little later in the race. Okay, now we're on board with Glenn Tyree, and he's going to catch the lip right there, and he's going to go right into Dave Blair. Okay, now we're on board with Dave Blair. We're going to look at that again. Just didn't see that coming. So, that was my second incident of the race. Okay, now we're going to jump on board with Steve Walker. Now, I was in chat with Steve Walker, so I know he was pretty excited to be in the top split tonight, and he did a really good job. Okay, we're 11 minutes into the race right now. Okay, now we're on board with Marcio Gamarez again. And he's just going to blow this corner. That'll cost him 3 spots. We are now 15 minutes into the race. Okay, now we're on board with Jason Jones. And again, he was battling Doug Hawley here. Doug's going to come in here a little too hot. And Jason Jones is going to pick up third. So now we're on board with Doug Hawley. He's in fourth at this point. We are now 16 minutes into the race. And you can see down in the distance that's Andreas still leading the pack with Heiko right behind him. Okay, now we're on board with Marcio Gamarez again. And we are 29 minutes into the race, so we jumped ahead a little bit. And here's Joao Duarte coming to make a pass. So that was a nice pass, but then Marcio's going to try and get a spot back here. And he just blows his corner. Okay, now we're on board with Heiko Schurman, and Andreas is currently leading the race. He's in first, and Heiko's in second. Again, these two had a great battle up front for over half the race. We're just over 30 minutes into the race right now. Okay, now we're on board with Andreas, and Heiko just made the pass. Okay, now we're on board with Dan Klar, and Jason Jones out there, he's in third, Doug Hawley's in fourth, and Dan Klar's in fifth at this point. We're currently 33 and a half minutes into the race. Doug Hawley's going to do a little drifting. Nice save. And Dan Klar's going to get the pass done. So now we'll jump on board with Doug Hawley. And then I think Dan's feeling the pressure. And Doug's going to get his spot back. So now we're on board with Will Dawson, and you can see Doug and Dan battling up there. Slowed them down a little bit. Will's closing the gap. Okay, we're about 35 minutes into the race, and Heiko Schurman is out front here in first. Andreas Castaneda is in second. Jason Jones is in third. Doug Hawley is running fourth, with Dan Klar right behind him in fifth. And then Will Dawson is running in sixth. Here's a little of Steve Walker and Sean Sebring having a little battle. Now Steve is in seventh, and Sean is in eighth. Okay, now we're on board with John Crane. You got Luke Skye right in front of him. And then that's Steve Walker and Sean Sebring out there in front. And you can see Steve is weaving across the track, and Sean's trying to stay in his draft. It's funny. We are 37 and a half minutes into the race at this point. Okay, now we're on board with Luke Sky, and we are 56 minutes into an hour-long race. And he's been battling up in the top 10 for quite a while, but his tires are just starting to give out. And I think he took too much damage going off track here, and he quits out. That's unfortunate. Okay, so now we're on board with Roberval Sereno, and this is the last lap of the race. And I would like for you guys to leave a comment and let me know, who do you think is at fault here? Again, this is the last lap of the race, and this battle is for 10th position. So Marcio's kind of blocking, and Roberval is going to give him a tap. So please, in the comments section, let me know who you think's at fault here. Marcio for blocking, or Roberval for tapping him out. I'd like to know what you guys think. Now I'm going to back that up again, and we'll get on board with Marcio at this point. Okay, now we're on board with Marcio. Now he ends up not finishing the race. He took too much damage and had to quit out. Again, this is the last lap of the race. So I don't know. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, so like always, we're going to run down 10th to 1st. So in 10th place is Roberval Sereno. In 9th place was Joao Duarte. In 8th place was Sean Sebring. In 7th place was Steve Walker. Will Dawson finished in 6th. And Dan Clark finished in 5th. Dan Clark, 5th place. Doug Hawley finished in 4th. 4th place was Doug Hawley. Jason Jones finished in 3rd. Andreas Castaneda finished in 2nd. And your winner tonight was Heiko Schurman. Heiko Schurman in 1st place. So here's Heiko Schurman coming across the finish line. Good job. This was a great series. Had a lot of fun with the Porsches. Next series will be with the Corvette. So I think everybody did a great job. I really enjoyed doing the highlights on these. Although due to my time restraints, I am probably not going to do highlights for the Corvette series coming up. I have a vacation planned, and I'm not sure I'm going to have the time to get them done. So if I do any, I'll post them, but don't hold your breath for it. Again, I think everybody did a great job, and you should come out and join us at the Simpit. Here are the race results for the Friday night race, which is week 6, race 2. Here are the standings after the final race of the Simpit Porsche RSR series. Thank you for everyone that came out and raced with us.